It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for September 14th, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, we're rounding up the Nintendo Direct. Square Enix is in trouble, and Mortal Kombat 1 reviews are in. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host, the Game Mess Mornings. It's Jan Ochoa, everybody. Jan, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling poor because I know this is on me because I use a very cheap coffee scale, but it's the thinnest I could find to fit into the little espresso machine. But when I use it for pour over, it's mad all over the place, Grubb.
Ooh, I'm okay. So what's the solution here? What are you gonna do? How do you solve this?
I either pour water slower, or
that's not an option.
That's not an option. Or I get a nicer scale, but I don't want to get the nicer scale, Grubb. I don't want to spend money on it. I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of times it's like I can make do with what I have. Like there's other things I could do to improve it. Having to spend more money is always feels bad. I never like it at all. That
being said, somehow, if you work at a coffee company, specifically Akaya, the nice coffee company scale, I will shill.
Oh, yeah. We'll make a whole show just around shilling your coffee products if you send it to us.
Please let me shill.
We're begging. We're on our knees begging now to shill.
I'm trying to shill and sliv it up.
Shill, sliv, punch down. That's put it on my fucking grave, Jan. That's how we do it over here.
That's the new Eat, Pray, Love.
It's the new Eat, Pray, Love. Giant Bomb's Eat, Pray, Love. Shill, sliv.
Shill, sliv, punch down.
It's too beautiful. Yes. All right. We do have a lot to get into. So let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you were watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, a lot to get into. Let's start the morning mess with the Nintendo Direct Roundup. I got a lot of this from My Nintendo News, a little bit from Polygon. I'm going to go in a certain type of order here. There's a handful of relatively big announcements or updates on games that we've heard about before that now we got more details on. Let's start here with Princess Peach Showtime. Princess Peach is getting her own game. It looked pretty cool. They announced this before, but now we actually got an idea of what it is, and it's Princess Peach kind of on an adventure trying to get back either shows that were stolen from a theater or there was some other thing that got stolen from her. But her solution to do this, instead of like the last Princess Peach game, which is to use her womanly emotions to cry so much that it rains, this time it's that she's going to dress up in a bunch of different roles, like a detective or a sword fighter, and look really cool and do a bunch of cool stuff. And I'm super into it, Jam. What do you think?
100%. We talked about this during the Direct, but it is surprising. I feel like it's honorable in a way and surprising also in a way how much Nintendo has not let capitalism pop off and kind of hold on to the sanctity of some of their characters. Yeah. I feel like the Leguizamo Mario movie really did a number on them and made them shy away from the world. But you have to factor in the success of Barbie, maybe inspiring people at Nintendo to be like, hey, we have our own Barbie. We have Peach.
Exactly.
Let's dress her up.
And they dress her up in like the sword fighter. There's Kung Fu Peach. I mean, these are like
Chef Peach.
Like, yeah, these are things like you would have Chef Barbie and all these other things. And it's like, that is a really excellent way to like treat one of your premier like female characters where like, hey, no, she can be anything. And it's a really, honestly, it's kind of a quaint idea at this point in 2023, but Nintendo, kind of a quaint company, right?
Totally. And the thing is, I just see the dollar signs. These are all different amiibos. These are all potential different costumes for Peach in a future Smash, a Mario Kart, perhaps. And this seems like much better received than that other solo Peach game from a couple years ago.
It looks substantial too. She dresses up. It's not like just a costume. Her gameplay changes. She will be doing sword fighting moves. She will be doing kung fu moves. When she's a detective, she's actually going to be solving a crime or whatever. So I'm excited to show it to my kids, but I'm excited to play it myself. I've always liked Peach as a character, and this one's looking pretty good. We'll do some pastry chefing with Peach, and I'll be interested.
Please.
The game's out March 22nd, 2024 for the Switch. That's my birthday, so everyone knows what to get me.
Happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you very much. You can pre-order it now, though, so if everyone wants to get in on
Pre-order
that.
your birthday?
Pre-order my birthday. That's right. I'll come to your house and have my birthday at your house if you pre-order it. The pre-order bonus is I'm going to be sloppy drunk. So make sure you get in there and make that happen. Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door also got announced. This is the return of the GameCube version. Looks very similar in terms of the gameplay action to the 1,000-Year Door, which is what you're going to want. The story also looked, pretty much identical. Also what you want. And really, honestly, if they would have just taken the GameCube visuals and updated them with HD textures or whatever, that would have been fine as well. They definitely updated it to there's like a lot of good new lighting. The character models do look new and improved, better than ever. And it's not like one of those things where like they lose the charm in the translation. Sometimes that does happen. It didn't happen here. I think this looks like a really good, somewhat light reimagining of Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door, a game that is just really beloved. People really like this game, Jan. You ever play it? Are you going to check it this time around?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to check it out. This was one of the Paper Marios I didn't get to play because this came out on the GameCube. Yeah, looking forward to it. I always remember seeing that Goomba with the ponytail and being very confused.
Yeah, of course.
But I also hear that this is one of the best, if not the best, Paper Mario.
It is the best one. Yes, it's the one that it's the one where the combat feels the most engaging and that you get the most out of it. And then it is super funny, super sharp, great writing. That all-time amazing Nintendo Treehouse translation, all that stuff is there, and the characters are great. All those the characters you meant, like the ponytail Goomba, they all fit into the story in really excellent ways. But yeah, this is a game that I have done let's download a texture pack. Let's use the widescreen hack on Dolphin, and I played it that way. And this is pretty close to that, but again, they did do extra work here. You're not going to get from that, and it does look better than ever. So that's pretty exciting. This game's out in 2024. They didn't give a date beyond that. I imagine it's probably out by like summer, though. Maybe probably like summer.
Yeah.
I guess. They're mostly probably going to stop releasing Switch games after the Switch 2 comes out. There will probably be a couple. This one, I suppose, could come out after a Switch 2. So maybe this goes as far as next fall, but I guess we'll see. Maybe late summer.
I was going to ask, I can't imagine it would take that much more work to also put this on whatever the Switch successor would be, right?
You're right. And I hope they kind of learn that. I mean, hopefully it's backwards compatible, right?
Oh, yes.
Right. That's ideally, like, even if the backwards compatibility is spotty, which I think is like, the worst case scenario, I think there will be some form of backward compatibility. But it might be Nintendo spottiness where, that's not entirely their fault. The chip that they will be using is not going to be a direct one-to-one thing with what they used on the Switch, and people made games for the Switch directly to the metal there. And the metal's going to be different on the new system, so there will have to be some either translation layer or some magic that NVIDIA does, or direct work to port the games and then call that backward compatibility. But a game coming out so late in the generation, you would expect them to account for that at the very least, I would hope. So
right, because that was Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, right?
Yes, Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. I mean, the Twilight Princess on the GameCube and the Wii. They definitely, as they get later, and especially with the big Zelda games, that's why maybe if there's no backward compatibility, maybe not count on it. But I think everyone's assuming there's some form of backward compatibility. We just don't know what that looks like yet. F-099 was just a wild thing to see. This is one of those battle royale games that Nintendo makes and puts on Nintendo Switch Online. Well, it made this. It's an F-099. It's out today, and you can play it, and it is the Super Nintendo version of F-Zero. So you got all those excellent Mode 7 levels and the sprite vehicles, and it looks really, really fantastic. And the idea of, like, because they started off, they did what you would expect them to do with a trailer like this. You start off with the 4 vehicles on the track. It's just F-Zero, and then of course they like flash, and then all of a sudden there's 99 F-Zero racers on the same track at once, and that's it's even wilder than the description makes it sound, right?
Yes, I mean, I love love a crowded racetrack as is, but knowing the mechanics in F-Zero and how much bumping into the tracks factors into your overall health meter, I guess, for your vehicle, it's just going to be pure chaos, Grubb, and I can't wait.
Now, people are already playing this. Some people say they got it downloaded. Jamie H. Christmas Eve here in chat said that they played it, and it's great. They did the first mini pre where they finished 18th, 40th, and then crashed on the final lap of the third race. Yeah, it's like a lot of it's going to come down to just trying to survive that initial batch of mayhem, and then once you get past that, hopefully you're able to maybe take some others out. Do you get a bonus for taking other people out? Because I'm like, are you best off trying to like just stay out of the crowd? Is that how you actually survive? But I don't know. You think you do the bonus maybe takes you up to that sky track. Maybe that's how it works. The risk reward there.
Oh, take me to the sky.
Take me to the fucking sky track. Absolutely. This is their F-Zero game, the first new F-Zero game in almost 20 years. There was no F-Zero GX remake. There was no new F-Zero game that is like feels like a modern F-Zero game. Although if you could have a bone to pick about like, this counts as a modern F-Zero game, but I guess fundamentally this isn't a new F-Zero. It is building on top of an old F-Zero. Do you think this like leads into something new, or is like this kind of a good place for F-Zero to be? Because I kind of think I feel that way.
I think this might be a good place for F-Zero to be, because Tetris 99 happened and there wasn't necessarily a new Tetris game that came out on the Switch, right? Like, because that didn't really lead into anything spectacular.
Tetris Effect is like a wholly separate thing that was happening elsewhere. It got ported to the Switch eventually, but it had nothing to totally. So Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered starring Lara Croft. This is a pretty decent up-res versions of those Tomb Raider games, at least in terms of what it looks like. I've never been a huge Tomb Raider fan, at least for the original Tomb Raider games. I'm kind of interested to see if they do any change into like how it controls, although I expect it still to have 10 controls of some form. This is coming February 14th, 2024, which is Valentine's Day, which is also Lara Croft's birthday, of course, in case you didn't know.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know. Okay.
Her canonical birthday is Valentine's Day, because game developers. Her chest is pointing in one of the modes, and I think you can hit a button and you can transition over to see the round chest mode, is what I think what they're calling it, everybody, in case you were wondering.
Happy early birthday to Lara Croft.
Yes, exactly. Trombone Champ is coming to Switch. That's got the 45 songs. It is going to be on the eShop later today, actually. So if you want to get this, I like Trombone Champ a bunch. I now feel like we have to subject Bacalar to it, who was freaked out by it. And not just the music. He definitely said the music sounded like third grader, which that's what trombones sound like. But he's scared of the big eyes as well. So we got to just spring Trombone Champ on him when he's least expecting it.
Oh yeah, that's the new like icing your friends is trombone champing, tromboning your friends.
Give me your friends as tromboner, absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown got another glimpse of that. That's coming January 18th to the Switch.
Man.
That later? No, that's when it's coming out for everything, right? I think that's when it's everything. So because it ran really good on the Switch when I played it, but continues to look really good, right?
Yes, very excited for that.
Yep. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. This is something they also previously announced when they talked about that Princess Peach game. I've never played Dark Moon. I've kind of heard nothing but middling things about it. I really like Luigi's Mansion 3, but I came around on that after only dabbling with the original and never playing the second one. But after playing 3, I really like Luigi's Mansion now. So I'm like, maybe I'll give this a shot. I'm expecting to be disappointed. I don't think they're going to make too many changes to how it works, but it still looks fun. It's Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's like a longer stretch of time from 2 to 3 than there was from 1 to 2. So it may feel like you're losing out on stuff going back to Luigi's Mansion 2. But hey, people love spooky stuff.
Yeah, and I think they I don't think Next Level made Luigi's Mansion 1 or 2. Maybe they made 2, but their speciality is animation and making games look really vibrant in terms of like the living characters and fun worlds. And Luigi's Mansion 3 has some of the best animation for any game, let alone a Switch game. So that's what stands out. And so I think going back and not having that stuff you'd be kind of missing some of that. Yeah, and it's Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, no longer called Dark Moon. I think they probably are like, people will
Not like.
yeah, they'll be like, they might be confused. Is this the new Luigi's Mansion? And they pick it up. And like, this feels like a downgrade. Well, that's why. It's actually Luigi's Mansion 2. So everyone just chill out. Another code recollection, the Nintendo DS game Trace Memory and its Wii sequel, which was never released in North America, are coming together fully enhanced on the Nintendo Switch system. A young girl named Ashley receives a letter from her father, who she thought had passed away. Seeking answers, she sets off on a solitary island in search of him. I never touched these games, Jan. It still doesn't look like my speed from what I saw, but it's coming January 19th to the Switch as a bundle collection. And pre-orders also start today.
I was honestly surprised when Backlar brought it up.
Yeah, apparently he played another code, I guess, on that. Yeah. But I mean, God, back then we were playing on the DS. I would play anything. Yeah, I played Hotel Dusk on there, and I liked Hotel Dusk. But it's like you would release something like that today, and I'd be like, I don't know if I can get to that. It's just another one of those visual novels, and yeah, on the DS, I'll play a visual novel. I don't know. Bandle Tale, a League of Legends story, and Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story. Let's see. Bandle Tale is a crafting RPG set in the magical world of Bandle City. Song of Nunu is a single-player, story-driven adventure following League of Legends champions Nunu and Willump. No. Let's see. Bandle Tale is coming to Switch next year. Song of Nunu is coming to Switch November 1st. Jan, tell me the truth. You gonna play these?
I will probably check out Bandle Tale because I'm a fan of the Yordles in League of Legends. Of course, the main Triss for all my league heads out there.
Bandle City is it's home to the furry and fun-loving Yordles. I've become aware of.
I think the gimmicks would like the Yordles.
Oh, listen.
I don't want to get them indoctrinated.
You better. We got to keep these kids away from League. I can't handle that. That would be too much.
The Yordles are all meeps.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I got some good news for you. I'll tell you about it later.
Oh my God, the Yordles are the gimmicks would love Teemo.
Okay, all right. I'll throw some Teemo at them. Maybe they could just think that these are just stuffed animals. They'll give them some stuffed animals, and they can play these games. And then I'll never tell them about the real League of Legends. I don't need my kids becoming more toxic. They already make fun of me enough. Among Us Fungal Map. It's a new map for Among Us. It's coming October. It looks like a sort of island map. It looks like 99 Among Us guys fall onto a map and have to survive.
I'm disappointed in the Among Us team because I feel like they're very clever. They should have just called this a fungus.
Yes, they should have done that. Yes, that would be very good. That maybe write that in and get your credit, and they'll change it. They know what they did wrong.
All right, come on.
Mario versus
cut
the check. Mario versus Donkey Kong. This is the rivalry from the Game Boy Advance system reignites on Nintendo Switch. Donkey Kong has stolen the mini Mario toys, and Mario is determined to track him down and get them back. Use your brain and brawn to make it through a barrel of increasingly challenging levels in this updated version of the game, and you can even play with a friend in local co-op. You're supposed to grab the keys and navigate perilous platforms with handstand jumps and backflips and lead the mini Mario toys to safety. Then prepare to face Donkey Kong head on. Mario vs. Donkey Kong launches on Nintendo Switch February 16th, 2024. Of course, you can pre-order it now. It's an updated version of that Game Boy Advance game. So the lineage is there's Donkey Kong 94. Then Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the Game Boy Advance was kind of a direct sequel to that, with like the beginning little teases of the March of the Minis stuff that would come later. But this still mostly plays like that Donkey Kong 94. I went from Donkey Kong 94 to playing the Mario vs. Donkey Kong game way later after people were like, no, they did make something that's just like Donkey Kong 94. That's what that first one is. And I played it, and I just really didn't like the way it looked, and that kind of hurt the way it felt. So I fell off of it pretty quickly. Maybe that will change here, but I also don't like the way this one looks so much because it's reminding me of New Super Mario Brothers, and I'm kind of over that. But I don't know. I'm still going to give it a chance, and I love the puzzle platforming stuff that was in Donkey Kong 94 and even Mario versus Donkey Kong. So it's cool that this is coming back, but I don't know. Maybe I still would have preferred, I think, a Donkey Kong 94 update or a direct sequel to sort of Donkey Kong 94 in this without going the March of the Minis route, but oh well. Splatoon 3 is getting, there was more updates on its expansion pack, which is coming spring 2024. Side Order, that's like the second wave of the Splatoon 3 expansion pack. Super Mario RPG, more details on that. Dave the Diver's coming to Switch. That's pretty cool. That's gonna be a good Switch game, right?
Oh, 100%. That is like you will lose hours of time playing Dave the Diver on the Switch.
Yes.
Oh, especially on an OLED. Not saying that I have one, but that'd be I can't. Oh man, give me that sushi.
God, that would look really good. Yeah, man, that's over because like that would probably run just as fine on a Switch as it does on a Steam Deck. Playing with the OLED screen would be very cool. Wargroove 2 is coming. Let's see, October 5th to the Nintendo Switch. Pre-orders begin today. This is the sequel to that Wargroove, an Advance Wars like, but more medieval themed. There's a dog general, and the dog can't die. All the other characters can die, but the dog just gets knocked out, Jan. So don't you worry. Horizon Chase 2, the racing game that's kind of I think getting ported to the Switch. It's okay.
You can't call a racing game and have Horizon in the title.
That is weird, right?
That feels illegal.
Yeah, it feels like you're trying to get away with something. I feel like the Horizon franchise, this Horizon Chase franchise, has been around for a while, but not as long as Forza Horizon. I don't know. Horizon Chase does like evoke Outrun, where it's like Outrun. It's like that, there's that awesome Horizon out there in the background, and then you're just going through all these super scalar sprites. I think that's what they're going for, but still, it's weird. WarioWare Move It is that's still coming November 3rd. Continue to look great. There was some excellent gifable moments from this where the characters are playing, or players are playing it, and it just looked really funny.
100%.
Detective Pikachu Returns. They talked more about that. That's coming October 6th. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 6 that we've known about for a while. That's coming soon. They said stay tuned for more information. Spy Anya. I think we're in the
Silent X
Weeb games. Yes, Spy X Anya.
Yes.
Is this based on an anime? You seem to recognize this.
Yes, this is based off of the Spy Family anime. Anya is one of the characters. Spy Family is a very fun, wholesome show. Mostly wholesome, I guess. Yeah,
people really like it. Is my understanding. People
really like the mom in this. Let me tell you,
I like the mom in the trailer for this game. So yeah, I understand. Super Crazy Rhythm Castle looks like a party rhythm game where like with 4 players. It's coming November 14th. Contra Operation Galuga coming early 2024. It's a reimagining of the classic NES game is how they framed it. It looks like trash. It looks bad. I really disliked the way it looked.
It looked real rough.
Yes, it just looked low quality.
And like the art style that they chose for this reimagination does not look good.
No, I'm there. No. I'm with you. I love Contra. If you're gonna do this, you just either use the original like NES graphics scaled up and to like make it look really crisp. That would be cool. Or I don't know, something more stylized. What they went for just seems like the lowest common denominator, and I really don't like looking at it. Let's see. Let's go through the rest of these. We'll pick out the highlights. Unicorn Overlord is it's an RPG. From the creators of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. It's developer Vanillaware, which is why it looked like a Vanillaware game. And it looks, I don't know, there was a lot going on in it. It looks like kind of some tactics, some RPG stuff, really cool character art. It's coming March 8th. And it's called
These fuckers are coming for me. These fuckers are coming for me.
Yeah, they want to get you, Jan. I've liked some Vanillaware games in the past. I haven't played most of them. I wish they would release their games on PC. They seem like they still never have put most of their games on PC. This game could end up like elsewhere. Right now, though, it's just announced for Switch.
I'd have to assume, like, if you're making a Switch game now, there's also going to be a PC port for third parties, at least. Yeah. Oh man, hey, if you're still somehow subscribed to PlayStation Plus, 13 Sentinels is heading there that way. Go check it out.
There was a Saga Emerald Beyond game that is coming to Switch next year. There is a witch in that game who is hiding as a schoolgirl, is what they said to me. So,
oh yeah, who of us has not?
And then is that the Ayuden Chronicle is the one that is like a Suikoden like.
Yeah,
and that's April 23rd. Well, yeah, it's like the subtitle is 100 Heroes. So. Yeah, you get the idea there. There was that Eastward DLC, and then Battle Crush from NCSoft, which looked like a MOBA battle royale kind of thing.
Oh, right. it's a bad name for a game.
I know, kiddo. I'm going to try to finish up as soon as possible. We got a kid who just wants to spend time. We'll do that very soon, kiddo. We're going to go to break here in a second. Before we do, so like some breaking news. Unity was going to have a town hall where they were going to talk to answer questions about their decision to begin charging a fee for installs of Unity games, which is a bad idea. Just straight up a weird thing to do, a bad idea. Some developers were estimating if we had to do that, we would owe this company millions of dollars, and not just
outweigh all of our sales.
Yes, exactly. It would make a lot of what we've done unviable going forward, not viable going forward. They were going to have a town hall, and then they canceled it. And John Riccatello says due to credible death threats. So hey, don't threaten to kill anybody. You can dunk on these guys all the time without having to threaten to kill them. But Unity kind of still they've walked it back, and people are still not happy because they walked it back to a position of, well, we're still going to charge a fee for people installing your game. We're just not going to charge twice. Doesn't that make you happy? It's no, listen, that was insane, the thing you were trying to get away with at first. But the fundamental underlying problem here is that you want to charge us for each time a person installs a game, even if it's across multiple platforms, even if they only pay for it once. We get paid once from the customer. You want to get paid twice. And that how do you not see that no one else in this business gets that sort of treatment? That's not how it works. Why are you special? And Unity's just well, we need money. We need the money. Well, that's not our problem.
Get fucked, Riccatello. But don't threaten anyone's lives.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Update from Lexi in chat. Let's see. Unity will quietly waive controversial fees if developers switch to its ad monetization service. Let's see. Yeah, they want people to stop using other services and use Unity's instead. This is from Tom Phillips at Eurogamer. A fresh report into Unity's hugely controversial decision to start charging developers when their games are downloaded has thrown fresh light on the situation. Mobile gamer sources say Unity has already offered some studios a 100% fee waiver if they switch over to Unity's own Level Play ad platform. The report quotes industry consultants that say this move is an attempt to destroy Unity's main competitor in this field, AppLovin. The Level Play suite of tools, AppLovin. I used to cover AppLovin a lot at GameSpeed, and every time I would say it, I'd be like, that's a good name. The Level Play suite of tools allows you to control every aspect of your monetization strategy via in-game ads and Unity games for smartphones with various types of ads, ad testing, and analytics available to serve up commercial content most likely to earn money. This puts the whole runtime fee announcement into the mediation war spotlight, consultant Matej Lukarik said. Unity is saying migrate to Level Play or you will need to pay a shit ton of money. For those smaller developers, there's no option but to migrate to Level Play mediation to save their companies. The rest are already thinking about other game development engines, Godot or Cocos 2D. Unity makes an oblique reference to this plan in its blog post on the controversial fees, with a note that qualifying customers may be eligible for credits towards the Unity runtime fee based on the adoption of Unity services beyond the editor, such as Unity Gaming Services or Unity Level Play mediation for mobile ad-supported games. So yeah, this is the create some pain so that you can create the solution and sell that to people instead, which is also just not a great strategy, and also seems anti-competitive. Jan,
there is a lot wrong and continues to be wrong with all of everything surrounding Unity.
This sounds borderline illegal.
Yes. Oh, 100%. And also there's always a level of boneheaded moves from companies that wind up tanking the company. But this feels like 3 degrees above bonehead,
yes, this is some new plane of bonehead existence. Yes.
Where was any thought put into this other than trying to get money of how is this going to affect our partners at all?
Right.
It's so fucking stupid, dude.
Right. If you are a business and your strategy becomes how can we use the leverage we have over our customers to force them into another one of our products so we can get more money, that is by many countries in many regions the definition of anti-competitive behavior. and you are going to get in trouble. They are going to get sued for this. So look out. Unity, John Riccatello, you probably can't walk this back fast enough at this point now that this is out there and they know this. If you want to avoid a much bigger headache, you're going to be paying a lot more money to government agencies. This is, yes, racketeering, Lexi says. Yes, that's right. We'll continue to see how the story develops. We'll keep up with it.
Hit Riccatello with a Rico, baby.
Yeah, Riccatello. This is the, you see this we saw a lot of developers complaining about this who make console games, and they are kind of just getting battered from the side. Well, Unity's really like, hey, Genshin Impact makes a lot of money. We do want that Genshin Impact money. Like we want in on a bigger slice of that pie. And so how can we craft something here so that either they have to pay us a lot of money, or the ads that those companies serve up, they just use our ads instead, or our platform. Yeah, that's kind of how it went here. And it's pretty obvious, and Unity has destroyed its reputation. It's just utterly obliterated it. So there's no fixing this at this point, it feels like, right?
No, not at all. Even from like an optics perspective, I just don't see any existing indie dev choosing to be like, oh no, you know what, we'll stay. Like, we've already seen statements from multiple devs now saying like, we're switching away, or like we're going to slowly pivot away from using Unity. And even thinking from like someone trying to get into game development, like just Unity is not going to be your friend at all.
Yep. And it's
like the fact that they were going to charge for demo downloads is insane. Also, apparently, if you use Unity in a browser game, you would be charged. Like, that is insane.
Right. That's my first memory of Unity was like, hey, like Flash is going away, but there's this new thing called Unity, and it's just like you hit this one button and it installs it in your browser, and you can play these 3D games in there. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the next thing I heard was like, people don't like hitting that button, so these games actually aren't going to work. People hate the idea of hitting a button saying, hey, this thing might do something to your computer. They don't know what that means, and they're scared. So Unity's never really figured anything out, it feels like, other than making people mad. And now they're really good at that. They're best that they've ever been.
And, we've talked about it too, but like, just imagine if your game is just included in a bundle, and like the bundle's meant for charity, yet you're being charged because your game is included in a bundle that you had for all intents and purposes wanted to raise money for a specific charity, that now you're getting boned because of it.
Yeah, they did eventually, since that first announcement where that was clearly the case, they've walked that one back. Apparently, we're like, if it's for charity, we won't get you. Like, okay, why, man? You should have had those answers ready to go right away. But I think the answer actually was no. It didn't matter. We're going to charge you for installs, just installs.
God, they should also have factored in that like game devs don't make a lot, y'all.
Yep. Yeah.
Just like think about the charity of me living.
And like, what if you have like a game that like kind of goes sideways and becomes one of these famous like, oh, everyone is complaining about this game. It's like, you're all okay. They're already going to have to deal with their customers being mad and probably doing like a lot of refunds on Steam. And then, well, what's the policy there? Do I still have to pay you because they installed the game and got their money back? And this is why it's crazy not to attach it to revenue. It should only be based on revenue, because otherwise you could have these insane situations where a company that has lost money still owes Unity millions of dollars. And that's just wrong. Okay. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there is some news about Square Enix getting in hot water with its investors. The Star Wars Jedi series director has left Respawn. We'll get into all that after this. We're back. Next story. Bloomberg says Square Enix under fire from investors. This story actually comes from my Nintendo news because I have a paywall. Bloomberg has published a new article about Square Enix. The article states that the latest game in their breadwinner series, the Final Fantasy 16, did not achieve the expected sales. According to the news site, $2 billion of its value has now been lost due to Final Fantasy 16, and now investors are speaking up about that. The staff believe that the company is suffering from poor quality control and project planning. over the past year, the company released numerous games. While some were successful, others, like Forspoken, consumed significant resources. These games included such as Bravely Default. We talked about the story a little bit yesterday. And there was speculation. Are investors sort of like getting on their case about this? That seems to be the thing here, where internally they are hearing from their investors that we are going to get out. There was word that a big institutional investor left, and now more are starting to consider that as well. So it was bad news yesterday, and it seems to be sliding in the same direction now, Jan. Square Enix is, the Final Fantasy 14 company, but they can't rely on Final Fantasy 14 forever because they have to grow. And Final Fantasy 16 was supposed to be the thing that made them grow. And we talked about this yesterday, where it's like, hey, that is a difficult thing to do when you're exclusive to PlayStation 5, right?
100%. For as many PS5s as there have been sold, it's still a limited install base.
Yes, and it's I think that the game did really well for being exclusive to a system that is still in its early years, coming out of a shortage of availability. But for investors, they don't really care about any of the excuses. They're like, what was the solution? Oh, it's going to be Final Fantasy 16, and it's not some magical bullet. And that causes them to panic. Now, investors, very stupid. We know this. Investors panic over everything. They don't understand things. There was that famous thing where it's like Pokemon Go was a huge success, so Nintendo's stock price went way up, and it's like, well, no, you should be investing in the Pokemon company over there. And then like a day later, like, oh, okay, we're going to sell this Nintendo stock and go get that instead. Because they're stupid. The investors don't know anything. But that also doesn't matter. You have to placate them regardless. And Square Enix doesn't have a lot of answers, it feels like. And I mean, I guess I say what's on the horizon. Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth is coming soon. They're going to have previews for that. I think people are going to be able to talk about that pretty soon. But Final Fantasy VII Remake did about 5 million copies sold. And that's pretty good. But it's also not some gigantic blockbuster like some Nintendo games or even a lot of Sony exclusive games, which do 10 million or 15 million. So... yeah. I don't think they can expect that much more from Rebirth, right? Rebirth is going to be probably another 5 million, right?
I have to imagine also just like the general confusion with Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? Like, is this a different Final Fantasy VII? Is this part 2?
Is like Final Fantasy VII Remake was like, is this the whole game? Some people, when they found out it wasn't, they're like, well, I'll just wait. That's going to come soon. It's like, well, no, it's going to be a couple of years. And I think that did scare off some fans. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I guess that comes back to, is Square Enix's messaging off? Do they have a good beat on what they need to be doing with these big franchises? And it feels like right now, no.
No, definitely not. Like, I hate to keep going back to this point, but like the marketing and the presentation of Final Fantasy 16, in my opinion, was like very abysmal and did a poor job at really showing off the good parts of that game, right?
Yes.
Ben Starr is a fantastic human being.
Yes, good spokesperson.
And I feel like they really should have leaned into Clive more and how they present this. If they're going to lean into whatever Game of Thrones inspiration that they want to, then like lean all the way in. Just fully copy how those trailers are presented. Like the fantasy, and we're talking like medieval fantasy audience is huge. Appeal to those people, appeal to those people that bought a PS5 because of Hogwarts Legacy. Manage your expectations as well, Square. Yep. And look at the fucking room.
Right. And it's like, look at the room and the recent history examples of that. Marvel's Avengers, Diofield Chronicles, there's some Forspoken. These are things where like you could feel people probably saying along the way, that doesn't seem like a good idea. But Square Enix was like, well, we only see the upside here, and we're not looking at any of the drawbacks, and say, okay, well, that's a problem.
It seems such a boneheaded move, because I feel like there's a lot of special moments in 16, just like there were a lot of special moments in Guardians of the Galaxy. But we're probably never going to see any more of 16, maybe some DLC. We're definitely never going to see any more Guardians of the Galaxy from that specific game.
No, it's a shame.
And I liked parts of Diofield Chronicles from what I played, but it did feel like a lot of it was underbaked. Like specifically the hub world that you went into, especially when you were competing with other games like Fire Emblem Three Houses, right? That came out several years ago at this point, but had a fantastic, pretty realized hub world and social interactions. Dalefield Chronicles just didn't hit on that aspect of it.
Yes, and so like when trying to diagnose what the issue here is, apparently this is a quote from the story: current and former Square Enix employees asking not to be named as they're not authorized to speak publicly pin the blame for the cooked ideas and not well thought out ideas. They put the blame for that on the company's approach of making every game project a single producer's fiefdom. An analyst was asked, like, okay, are you still concerned about that? And they said, well, yeah, we remain concerned with the company's game development structure and game quality control, which could limit the long-term performance. And that's from Macquarie Capital Securities Japan analyst Ija Zhai, who wrote in a letter to clients. That's what they're worried about. And then Cirkin Toto, someone we mentioned yesterday, says Square Enix has problems with their game's output. These titles get a 70% rating on Metacritic, are kind of okay, and just very forgettable. And some of them are worse than that. Some of them are better than that. And I just think that for Square Enix, that they had that shotgun approach, and then they have these big games. And the shotgun approach, they sort of just like let it fall out there, and they don't have a good approach to marketing. And then for the big games, they do put all this marketing in it, and then they set their expectations way too high. And so everything just is off kilter. Everything that they do is just not right. And so, I'm kind of, I don't know where they go from here, really.
I don't know where they go. And I look at the success like Sega has been having with Atlas and Persona and Like a Dragon now. And I feel like they are not actually, or if Square is not actually believing in any of the products they're making.
Yeah. It does feel like they're working from a position of being scared, right? Where we got to make this as broadly appealing as possible. I mean, that is maybe the biggest criticism from the fandom against Final Fantasy 16 is you went too far and you tried to make it too much of an action game or whatever, and it doesn't feel like much of a Final Fantasy game. And then we look around at the successes that you just mentioned, Jan, or Baldur's Gate 3, and it's like, man, this is such a specific thing. These things are more their thing than they've ever been before, and they're getting rewarded for it. And Square Enix goes in the opposite direction and is getting punished for it. Specificity is sort of broadly appealing, it turns out. If you make something that's a specific thing, people are like, I am interested in that, and I want to go figure out what that means and how to get into it. Not like, oh, someone is making something that's easy to get into. There's something about gamers that I think are very much more attracted to the specific thing that is a little bit harder to get into, but it's more rewarding.
100%. And I'm just baffled when I see games like Forspoken, because I don't know who that target audience was for.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, I'm just very bummed about 16 because like there's bits of the story that I really enjoy. There's parts of that gameplay once you get to the end or like New Game Plus that like really sing. It just takes a while to get there, and I don't think Square was giving themselves enough runway to go for it.
Yep. Yeah, I think I don't know.
Grubb, I don't know how much you've checked out the Final Fantasy VII mobile game, but that is like a gotcha mess that isn't even a good gotcha mess.
That's a shame. Yeah, right. Like there's a world where like some of those gotcha games can be fun in a sort of guilty pleasure sort of way. And I guess this one's not that. I did start it up, but I haven't played much of it. I'm like, oh, that's how I'll play through the Final Fantasy VII story. And that doesn't seem like the answer, actually.
And I don't know, like I'm a weird defender of Strangers of Paradise. I feel like that game has completely disappeared from Square.
Yeah, right. And it's like to build on that. There should be some more stuff happening there. But I don't know. They do these projects and they kind of take a wait and see. And say, I don't know, maybe be more, attack it more aggressively and keep going and see if you can win people over.
In like the same, in the way where we're seeing Nintendo kind of adapt to modern times, which is a funny statement to say, thinking about how they handle everything else. But like, you know, going back to what Tam had said in that interview about Super Mario Brothers Wonder, about like younger members of the team asking, why do we have a timer? Why do we have this? This feels antiquated at this point. I don't think those checks are happening at Square.
No. Yeah, probably. And that's maybe goes back to the structure of producer fiefdoms, and yeah,
Oh, 100%.
and like people love Yoshi P, and he's earned that, but
Totally.
that doesn't mean he's never going to have a misstep. And people, what, Final Fantasy 16 is a good game, and a lot of people do like it, but it living up to these loftier expectations. How does Square Enix do that? Maybe it's not possible, and two, maybe the approach they have taken is not working, even if the people at the top in these producer fiefdoms are very good at their job. Like that, both can be true. All right, let's keep moving on here. Star Wars Jedi series director Stig Asmussen is leaving Respawn. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Stig Asmussen, the director of both Star Wars Jedi games, is leaving developer Respawn Entertainment. As reported by Bloomberg, Asmussen is leaving Respawn and its parent company EA, with his next destination currently unknown. After careful thought and consideration, Stig Asmussen has decided to leave Respawn to pursue other adventures, and we wish him the best of luck, an EA spokesperson told Bloomberg in a statement. Veteran Respawn leaders will be stepping up to guide the team as they continue their work on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. They're also working on a third Jedi game. That's happening. So Stig getting out of there before that. Just last week, EA CEO Andrew Wilson teased unannounced projects currently in development at Respawn. That one of them is that Jedi game. Another one is the Star Wars first-person shooter game. There's a Star Wars Tactics game that was announced. They're working with a third-party developer. And then there's a Skunkworks project as another action game from the guy that directed Titanfall 1. Stig Asmussen moving on. Not the most surprising thing. They brought him in to oversee Jedi. Jedi seems like it's in a good state. But also it could be signs that, like, hey, people don't necessarily love working under EA. We've always heard that, and maybe that continues to be the case. There is also like slight unspecified rumors of there was problems with the development of Jedi Survivor, something that's also easy to believe, but no facts there, nothing that we know for sure. And Stig Asmussen has put out 2 successful games and could probably go out there and either get a job anywhere else or start his own studio, which is the next step up for him. He's directed God of War 3. He did now these 2 Star Wars games. He could go take on his own studio and just kind of begin being like the leader of that. And that's like the only place he can go that is above where he's at right now. So that makes some sense as well. Respawn, Jan, is a company that has made a lot of great games, has a reputation now, but has also had a lot of talent leave. Do you worry about the future of their games ever?
I feel like that company or that studio has worked its way into becoming somewhat of a pipeline, but they maintain like the general ethos throughout, right? Like it hasn't felt too different since being since being part of EA, right? Like the folks that are there's been culture developed where they maintain it despite these folks leaving. And when you're at the top, it must be very like Stig here. It must be very frustrating, or you do just want to eventually move on and do your own thing with a little bit more freedom than you would operating underneath someone like EA.
Yep, I think that's probably right. I think the EA is trying to recognize Respawn's culture. They're trying to recognize that is a good way that all their studios should be operating. A big part of that is they take a long time to prototype these things, and then that gives them a lot of time on the other end to then turn that into a cool product. That's what happened with Apex Legends. It's what happened with the Titanfall games, why they're so magical. But you got to think look at the turnaround from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order to Survivor. That's just a normal amount of time for a lot of games these days. So they were going bang bang. Maybe he wasn't ready to go bang bang bang, like do 3 back to back. That probably would be a bit overwhelming, and that does feel like an EA mandate. Like, hey, that's a success. Get working on this next one. It's like, hey, we had to rush the second one, and it wasn't finished when we put it out. And like, they just finished it. It feels like months later after with that big update.
What's the news on how the PC port is going? Because I'd like to check that.
I think the most recent patch seems to mostly fix the problems, especially on console. I guess I don't know for sure on PC, but it seems to be much better off across the board now. It does have like better DLSS, I guess, at this point. So things like that are in there. But I think across the board, it's running much better.
Not to derail us because we're running late, super late in comparison. I'm so upset that Ray Stevenson is passed because his character in Ahsoka.
Yep, just an all-time. That's a baddie right there. That is a good-looking man. Just fucking owning that white hair and white beard. I am devastated that he's gone because I don't think a character's ever looked cooler than Ray Stevenson's character in Ahsoka. Just cool.
You could put that same character, not change anything about him, and put him into Game of Thrones. He'd fit right in.
Exactly, yes. A very Game of Thrones character. I'm surprised Ray Stevenson was never in Game of Thrones, at least not that I can remember.
Seems like a disservice.
Yeah,
rest in peace.
Yeah, rip to a real one. I love Ray Stevenson. All right, we're going to jump ahead to this one here. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition is reportedly coming to PC. I bet that could get announced today at a State of Play here that's happening pretty soon. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. The next PlayStation game set to be released on PC will reportedly be the Complete Edition of Horizon Forbidden West. Deal Leaks leaker Bill Kuhn, who has a lengthy track record of leaking reliable information, says the game will be available on Steam and the Epic Game Store. Although Bill Kuhn is currently unable to confirm the game's release date, they say that based on previous data they've collected in the past, its release should be imminent, most likely within the next month. That feels quick, but Jan, it's been 2 years since that game came out, apparently. It flew by.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Just flew by, yeah. God of War Ragnarok actually feels like it came out like longer ago, but no, that one only came out last year. But yeah, this is 2 years ago.
Hey, good for the Horizon heads up there.
Yeah, Horizon heads get your feast on, sure. I'll play it if I could put Thomas the Tank Engine in it with the mod. There we go.
Yeah.
Make y'all happy. The latest NVIDIA drivers improve Starfield performance on RTX 30 and 40 series cards. This is from Andrew Heaton at Destructoid. I did notice, Jan, that the game-ready drivers from NVIDIA never had like the Starfield emblem on them, which it wouldn't because they had an AMD deal, so they probably like, well, we're okay with that. But it probably just means that NVIDIA didn't have an early access version of the game to get their drivers ready, and now that they have, it is there, and the performance is much better. A few months before release, it was revealed that Bethesda would be partnering with AMD for Starfield, likely leaving NVIDIA and Intel users worried. Now, Team Green has pushed out a new driver update that is said to boost the game by an average of 5%, which is significant from just updating the drivers. But yeah, you can get that driver now, and it's for it's going to improve it for RTX 30 and 40 series cards, which were just seemingly underutilized. I'm gonna skip this next one as well, Jan. Let's do the Mortal Kombat 1 review roundup.
Let's go.
So Dan's been playing this. Mike Minotti's been playing it as well, and they won't shut up about how much they love it, Jan. They both are super into it.
I'm so curious because we all checked it out during SGF, and I liked what I played.
I had a good time with it, yeah. But like they're like talking about it in terms of beyond that. Like Dan is like talking like it's like in his game of the year list, things like that. And I'm like, okay, like, and when I asked, like, it's just so much fun. And the story mode is really good.
I really want like the folks that handle the story of like, I want other fighting games basically to take inspiration from MK's story.
Yep.
And just like, there is a rich lore that you can tell with pretty much every mainline fighting game, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think that would work. I mean, and even like taking other franchises and making a fighting game based on them, but with like the impetus of being, hey, let's make a story mode with this fighting style. That could be cool as well.
I honestly don't know why WWE or AEW has not just decided, like, you know what, let's just go the fighting game approach.
They're 1,000,000% should be a fighting game. Like they did that mobile version where the WWE guys were superheroes. Leave all that shit aside. No, make it a real fighting game for consoles and PC with the actual wrestlers. That would be amazing.
Just have NetherRealm do it.
Yeah, let NetherRealm. Make NetherRealm do it. That would be great. NetherRealm's busy, but they should still do it. All right, let's see these scores here. Video Games Chronicle, gave it a 5 out of 5. Mortal Kombat 1 is the best Mortal Kombat game to date. It looks stunning, has a brilliant story mode. Its new Invasions mode will keep solo players busy. That's the Mario Party style thing. That's a solo mode. And above all else, it's an absolute joy to play. Thoroughly essential for diehards, lapsed fans, and newcomers with a K alike. Press Start gave it a 9.5 out of 10. VG 24/7 gave it a 4 out of 5. So Mortal Kombat 1 sets the stage for a new era of Mortal Kombat that you can't help but get pumped for. NetherRealm, like the characters in its ultra-violent universe, is staring right into the face of a brave new world and locking eyes with the future. Keeping those eyes in its head, though, may remain a challenge. Yeah, they get can get poked out in Mortal Kombat. So Baraka's in that game, so you're going to have to probably get your eyes poked out. COG Connected gave it a 9 out of 10. Screen Rant gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Mortal Kombat 1 is a perfectly adequate, but not ideal place to start. That would be Mortal Kombat 2011. For returning players who just want to see their favorite characters again, this game will be a must-buy. If you were hoping to see the great Kung Lao myth, however, or an entirely new cast of characters, Mortal Kombat 1 isn't essential and brings very few truly new ideas to the table. I don't know if I want new ideas, right? I'm okay with just the Mortal Kombat.
I feel like the cameo stuff is like new ideas for the series.
Definitely, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
I think it's completely okay to have that position, but it's for me. I'm like, I don't need new things from Mortal Kombat. I just need Mortal Kombat to be the most Mortal Kombat ever, and everyone seems to agree this is that at the very least. All right, I got a Lies of P review roundup. You've been playing. Did you play a little bit of this?
Yes. I've played maybe like a good 2 hours, and I think that I think everyone has to check it out.
Okay. All right, that's exciting to hear. I'm like gonna try to make fun. I'm gonna beat Armored Core 6, and then I'll probably try Lies of P next, I guess. GameSpot gave it an 8 out of 10. For the most part, Lies of P is content to adorn existing mechanics and ideas with its own story and aesthetic. This may be a derivative approach, but it nails the core Souls-like experience, with each of its various mechanics seamlessly coalescing to create a thrilling action game that's challenging, varied, and dripping with atmosphere. Good Luck, Have Fun gave it a 8 out of 10. This is from Sports Illustrated, actually. Despite its similarities to so many other Souls-like games, it does enough to be different. For hardcore Souls-like players, there is the promise of a new story, an alternate ending among the difficult bosses. For newcomers, Lies of P does a good job of easing you into the action. And that's from Georgina Young over there. Digital Trends gave it a 7 out of 10. But let's go here to this VG247 that gave it a 4 out of 10. There's some enjoyment to be found in Lies of P. Its action is competent, but lacks the polish and stir of its contemporaries. Its atmosphere can be engrossing, but its hodgepodge of themes and aesthetics you've seen before that never rise above the familiar. I was never impressed by it, and I never stopped questioning the point of the entire endeavor throughout my time with it. It comes from Sharif Saeed at VG247. I most people seem to be enjoying it, and it's kind of like landing around where I expected.
Tam posted on Twitter his takes on it, and he was walking away from it very pleased. So if you other Soulsborne heads out there need your stamp of approval from Tamothy, Tamothy gives a thumbs.
Tam can be a very, very tough judge of these games that are trying to be like Bloodborne. So him coming away being like, no, this is an admirable attempt at it that does a lot of things right. That's encouraging, I think.
And the other games that have come out recently, like Wukong, I think did that one come out? Yeah. It's so confusing which ones have come out.
I think that was I do think that was earlier this year.
That one was fine, but I think Lies of P understands what it's trying to do more so, and nails it.
Wulong,
and does a pretty good job.
That's what it. Not Wukong. Wulong. Yes, Wukong is the monkey game. That's right. Wulong.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I got something. Breaking news story. Hades 2 early access in Q2 of 2024.
Okay. All right. Okay. I can listen. If you were I thought you were about to say it's out now because they originally announced it would start this year.
I could not.
All right. I'm going to stop being excited and also terrified because if Hades 2 came out right now, I would be like, well, that's all I'm fucking playing. Goodbye, everybody. Gonna go into a cave. Okay, Q2 of next year, I can handle that. That's
for Steam and Epic Games Store.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Chauffeur says I did the same chair grab as Grubb. Yeah. Oh my God. That last time it was on Epic only for the first 2 years of its life. So that's cool. Steam Early Access will be very welcome. I'll welcome that. And then it'll launch on Switch at some point after that, but probably by then Switch 2. Boy, I love Hades.
It's gonna destroy everyone.
It's gonna be. Oh boy, I can't wait. Okay, let's see here. I got the poll from yesterday. Let's throw it up on the site here. Do you see yourself playing games like Assassin's Creed Mirage or Resident Evil 4 Remake on your phone? Jim, what do you say?
I'm not against gaming on my phone. I just don't want to play AAA games on my phone. I enjoy the phone game. I enjoy phone games for being like another space for indie darlings to pop up on.
Yep. 94% of people agree with you. They said no, they're not going to play those games on here. 6% said yes. I mean, I wonder if there's a way for them to shift those numbers. Probably not a huge amount, but I guess maybe if they educate more people about like backbones, I think that might help. But I don't know. The young audience doesn't seem to care about like physical controls, but maybe they don't. I don't know.
I don't think they do, because I'm just thinking of like all the younger folks that would play, that I've seen play Fortnite or Call of Duty Mobile, and they're completely fine using the touchscreen.
Yes, exactly. So maybe that doesn't matter for most of the audience out there that's kind of coming to the phones to play games like that.
I think what the current phone audience is looking for is just honestly nice cameras, nice screen to watch.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice camera. That's the biggest thing. I would like on my next phone. I want to have a much better video camera, but if the picture quality is the same, I'm good. That's set on my phone.
I thought about getting a burner phone because I just wanted to try out a Sony Xperia.
Sure, yeah, their cameras are really good in there.
Exactly.
Okay. New poll. How do you grade the Nintendo Direct? A, B, C, D, or F? I'll be going up on youtube.com/giantbomb under the community tab. We can do that many, right? We can do 5 options. I think we can on YouTube.
Yeah. It's up now.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Shan. Appreciate that. And we'll refresh there. There you go, everybody. Take a look there. All right. What do we have happening on Giant Bomb, Jan?
We have a bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes. We also have moved voicemail dump truck from its normal slot today to tomorrow.
We did that because the state of play is happening. We will be talking over that at is that 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. your time? Okay, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. So later in the day, later in the evening, especially for
we will still have Game S mornings popping off tomorrow.
That's right.
UPF tomorrow as well. Still up in the air as to if it'll be of what we will do. But hey, F-Zero 99 came out. Mortal Kombat 1 is going to be out. Shenanigans will ensue.
Yep.
Voicemail dump truck. Oh,
I'm back. They're done with me.
Oh boy!
Like they just finished with you?
What? No, I'm home. They said don't work today because the drugs.
Yep. Guess what? You sound drugs. That's what you sound like.
I sound good.
Oh boy!
I sound great. I sound fantastic. Never sound better. How dare you?
No one can see this right now, but Mike totally has his camera on and he's just drooling on the floor.
Yeah, he's laying flat on his back. I was wondering what that was. That's his carpet. Mike, you're not worried you're going to say something like your inhibitions are down. You're going to say something racist, almost certainly, right?
No, because when that's my real me is not racist. So okay.
It's just the character.
I'm a good person. It's the character. Wow. I had my mom record the fart.
Oh, good.
Shouts out to Mama Minotti.
Did she have any disappointment in her eye when you asked, or was she just used to it?
No, she was definitely disappointed that I asked her to record my fart for the internet. Maybe not for the internet. Maybe just for close personal friends.
Yeah. So the internet.
Go to sleep. Eat a pizza, Mike.
Yeah.
I ate a cheeseburger. It was such a good cheeseburger. Oh my god! It was so. I was eating this cheesy burger, and I actually thought, I bet Dan would like this cheeseburger because it was just the cheese. And I had a burger sauce. Do you think Dan likes burger sauce?
No, I think he'd be scared. He doesn't even like ketchup.
He's anti-sauce.
I don't like ketchup.
That's right,
Fuck ketchup.
Now, he did say something problematic.
Whoa,
oh no!
Whoa!
Holy
no
shit.
one clipped that. No one clipped
Calm
that.
down, Mike. Dude, man, we need you.
Yeah, 1,000-year door. Let's go.
Yeah, that's pretty good, huh? It looked great.
Yeah.
I know that, Mike, you don't have any stitches, but I feel like you're gonna rip a stitch or something.
Ah.
Gonna blow an O-ring.
Nah, it's fine. Okay, goodbye. I love you.
Love you too, Mike.
Bye.
Bye,
Mike. We can't call HR because he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. What can we do about this? There's nothing we can do. You know what, Mike? Thank you for letting us know you're okay. Jan, thank you for talking with me about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
It's my favorite way to start a Thursday, and definitely not talking over a Nintendo Direct at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I bet not. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. We'll be back with more stuff later today, that State of Play specifically, so look out for that. Until then, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Harrison Dula's pants!